Hi, I'm Rob's mom from Texas. Welcome to RobMotive.
Well, good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Pretty good here, and welcome to the channel. So, you're thinking about lifting your Tacoma. Well, as an owner of a formerly lifted Tacoma, it's sitting right up here in the garage. I have some pretty good experience with it. Now, I am going to be lifting my new 2020 as soon as it comes in, but here are a few things that you should know before you go ahead and lift your Tacoma. Okay, first off, let's go ahead and talk about warranty. You know, I get a lot of questions. I see a lot of comments about warranty, right? People are always concerned that if they lift their truck, they're going to somehow destroy their warranty, right? Well, first of all, warranty is kind of a touchy thing, really, and it kind of depends on the dealership you're at. But the rule of thumb from everything that I've seen and my own experience is that you're not going to have any warranty problems unless something is affected by the lift that you've done. And I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. You know, if you go ahead and lift your truck and everything is fine, and then let's say that, oh, I don't know, the headlight burns out. Well, obviously, lifting your truck had nothing to do with the headlight burning out. You know, the bulb. Absolutely nothing at all to do with it. So your warranty is not going to be revoked or denied simply because you have a lift on the truck. Whatever you do to the truck, whether it's a lift or anything else, is going to have to directly affect the part that's failed. That's the general rule of thumb. Of course, if you've got a dealership that's a little shady or not very trustworthy, one never knows. All bets are off. And that would be true no matter what you do with your truck. Next up, let's talk about alignment. Especially if you've got some brand new shiny rubber on there. You've lifted your truck, they've gotten in there, they've manipulated the suspension because they have to do that, especially if you're going with a block and spacer or any lift really. So you want to make sure that the shop that you're going to, whether it be the dealership or maybe a third party, gets the truck out for an alignment, that it's done properly. You know, I recently had a truck lifted and I had the option of whether or not I wanted to go with an alignment. So I thought, you know, I'm going to take the truck out, I'm going to drive it, and I'm going to see if indeed I can tell any difference. Did I really need to spend that whopping $60 to go ahead and have the truck aligned, or did it just feel normal? So I took it for a ride, drove it around a little bit, and I got to tell you, I didn't notice anything. It felt perfectly fine. Couldn't tell that anything had been done at all. But the problem is the angle of the tires is going to be off. If you don't get it aligned properly, the tires are going to be off and they're going to wear. And the last thing you want to do is have to replace the brand new shiny tires that you just put on a couple of months later because they're not aligned properly. So make sure that you go ahead, if you do the lift, and have a good quality alignment done so that you don't run into that problem and spend even more money, these things aren't cheap, on new tires because you didn't take care of it in the first place. All right, next up, this is number 3 on my list of 5 things, is the onboard fuel economy calculating system, let's call it. You know, a lot of people go out, they'll get a lift, they'll get the new, and this really applies to larger tires, but they'll go out and get the lift, they'll put 2 larger tires on, and then they complain about the fuel economy. It's just not right, it can't be right, and it isn't right. If you change the size of your tires, if you go bigger, if you go a lot smaller, that system that you have in the truck was set up for the original equipment. So you have to either have it recalibrated, you know, find a shop somewhere that'll do it. I have found that is difficult to find within itself. A lot of the dealerships won't do it or can't do it, and trying to find a third party to do it is rather difficult. I've heard numbers somewhere in the $200 to $250 range to go ahead and have that system recalibrated. Now, you do have an option. You can't pay attention to that onboard system anymore if you don't have it recalibrated, of course, because it will be wrong. However, you could do it the old-fashioned way. You know, fill it up, see how many gallons it takes, divide by the number of miles, or vice versa, that you've driven, and come up with the old handcrafted miles per gallon or fuel economy calculator. Personally, that's what I'm doing. I'm not going to spend $250, whatever it is, to go and have the system recalibrated just so I can see what the miles per gallon are every once in a while, because it doesn't matter that much to me, to be honest. But just beware that you're not going to be able to jump in the truck, push that button, and see what your fuel economy is anymore. And don't be discouraged because you see those numbers go way down. They're not right. All right, next up, number 4. If you do go with more aggressive, larger tires, your ride quality is going to suffer, and you're going to hear more road noise. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, if you think about it, it just makes sense, right? The OEMs are an all-season tire, right? They try to accommodate both. They have a smoother, less aggressive tread pattern. So when that rubber goes around and slaps the road, it's not nearly as aggressive. If, for instance, you go out and get yourself a set of those cool-looking Nitto Ridge Grapplers, which I'm running on the truck up there behind me, and I love them. But they are a more aggressive tread pattern. They're deeper, they're thicker, they're heavier. I weighed my tires and wheel setup recently, the ones that are going to go back on the new truck. I'm over 80 pounds. Probably about 20 or so pounds heavier than the OEM version. So you're going to be slapping the road harder with a deeper tread pattern. It's going to make more noise. You're going to hear it going down the road, and it's not going to ride as smoothly as what the OEMs were. You know, I was a little confused, a little bit of a story. I was a little confused when I did this myself the first time, right? I put the lift on, I put the new wheels and tires on at the same time. I had a rougher feel, noticeably rougher feel. And I thought, it's the lift. Well, in my endeavor to put my Tacoma back to stock, waiting on the 2020 to come in, I went ahead and took the lift off and ran, or I should say I didn't take the lift off. Before I took the lift off, I took the tires and wheel combo off and put some closer to OEM version on. Less aggressive, all that good stuff. And it was smooth. It was just like it was when I first got the truck. It was the tire setup that was causing the rough ride, not the lift. All right, last point number 5. Your giant tires will rub if you don't go with the right wheel offset. I don't know how many times I see this on the web, how many comments I see about this. I just got one the other day. If you put giant tires on that truck, on the Tacoma, and you don't push them out a little bit, first of all, you're going to rub the UCAs. When you hit bumps and you go up and down, or when you turn sharply, you're going to rub the UCAs, the upper control arms. Secondly, if they're so big, too big, you're going to hit the inside of the wheel well when you turn. I mean, when I went with mine originally, I had that problem. I'm not going to go into depth on that, but I rubbed the UCAs. So I had to change the tire. Fortunately, those went on the Jeep here beside me and no problems. But I had an issue myself. And it always amazes me how many times I hear people having problems with their new tire setup on their lift. It's because I think either they get bad information or they just didn't do their research. That was my fault. I didn't do the research. I told the installer what I wanted, and they did what I wanted to do. I guess they figured I knew what I was talking about. It seemed like I did. I didn't. Beware. If you go with something that's too big, you're going to rub. So then you have to decide, are you going to spend that money all over again, buy a brand new set of wheels and tires, maybe sell the other ones at half price now, I don't know. Or are you going to live with that rubbing? That would drive me insane. So just make sure that you do research before you go ahead and invest in those giant pretty tires that you're looking to put on. Okay, we got a little bit of a bonus, number 6 for you guys. So you decided to go ahead and do it. You decided to go ahead and lift that truck. You are now a member, a card-carrying member of the Modded Truck Club. And that means that you're going to spend more money. Why? Because when you join that club, you've got the bug, right? You're going to want an exhaust. You're going to want a cold air intake. Got to tint the windows. I mean, how can you have a cool looking lifted truck and not have tinted windows? The possibilities really are unlimited, especially with the Toyota Tacoma. There are tons of aftermarket parts and stuff out there. Now, I will tell you, if you're watching this video, it's probably already too late. You've probably already got the bug and you're well on your way to throwing some cash into that Tacoma. Anyway, just wanted to get on here, talk about that a little bit. I get questions periodically, ongoing about these things, so kind of wanted to update my thoughts a little bit with this video. I've talked about things like this before. Anyway, leave a comment down below. Let me know if you've ever had a problem. If you've lifted your truck, and be honest, and you were surprised or did not account for what that was going to mean and whether you liked it or not or whether you had issues. Anyway, appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time on the web. Have a great day. Bye.